But when we look at this part of it, now the question becomes, if the Creek people, and I can delve deep in that, me, I hate doing paraphrasing. I love quoting. But if we dive deep and we go into what it identified the Creek nation as, there was not a Creek Indian that was not identified as a Negro. So I'll say real simple, where's the Negroes at? Oh, they're the freedmen now.
Yep.
They're the freedmen begging to be identified by those who was once not even considered Creek. That's documented. That's documented. That there was a different class of Creeks. The Creeks who were Creeks all looked like Negroes or considered Negroes to be Creeks. And then there was the mulattoes, there was the mixed breeds, there was those who looked even white. And I'm not going to leave this show without literally quoting that statement, because that is more powerful than anything else when it comes to our identity.
I see dead people. Aye, mustard on the beat, ho, Debo, any rap nigga, he a freak throw, man down, call her Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro, nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with him. Walking down whole time, I know he got some hoe in him. Pole on him, extort shit, bully the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs, and party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baca got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 that fuck him up. Wop, 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 I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch, ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor. They not like us, they not like us, they not like us. They not like us, they not like us, they not like us. You think the Bay gon' let you disrespect Pop, nigga? I think that Oakland show gon' be your last stop, nigga. They cold foul, I don't know why you still pretending. What is the owl? Bird niggas and bird bitches, go. The audience not dumb, shape the stories how you want. Hey Drake, they're not slow. Rabbit hole is still deep, I can go further, I promise. Ain't that something? P-Rest, that's for bitching. You Malibu most wanted, ain't no law boy, you ball boy. Fetch Gatorade or something. Since 2009, I had this bitch jumping. You niggas will get a wedgie, be flipped over your boxes, or over your foe. The other vaginal option, pussy, nigga better straighten they posture. Got favorites all up in contact, might write this with a doctrine. Tell a pop star quit hiding, fuck a caption, won't action. No accident, I'm hands on, he fuck around, get polished. Fucked on Wayne Grower, he was in jail, that's conniving. Then get his face tatted like a bitch apologizing. I'm glad D-Rose came home, y'all didn't deserve him neither. From Alondra down to Central, nigga better not speak on Serena. And your homeboy needs subpoena, that predator moving flocks. That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. I lean on you niggas like another line of walk. Yeah, it's all eyes on me and I'ma send it up the pot. Ay, put the road label on me, I'ma get them dropped. Ay, sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. Ay, how many stocks do I really have in stock? Ay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. Ay, devil is a lie, here 69 God. Ay, freaky ass niggas need to stay their ass inside. Ay, roll their ass up like a fresh pack of Zod. Ay, city is back up, it's a must, we outside. Ay. They not like us, they not like us, they not like us. They not like us, they not like us, they not like us. Once upon a time, all of us was in chains. Homie still double down, calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the mecca, building railroads and trains. Bear with me for a second, let me put y'all on game. The settlers was using town folk to make them richer. Fast forward 2024, you got the same agenda. You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. Let me break it down for you, this the real nigga challenge. You caught Future when you didn't see the club. Hey, what? Little baby help you get your lingo up. What? 21 get your false street cred. Thug make you feel like you a slime in your head. Hey, what? Quavo said you can be from Northside. What? 2 Chainz say you good but he lied. You run to Atlanta when you need a few dollars. No, you not a colleague, you a fucking colonizer. The family matter and the truth of the matter. Here was God's plan to show y'all the liar. He a fan, he a fan, he a fan. He a fan, he a fan, he a freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life. Let me hear you say OV ho. OV ho. Say OV ho. OV ho. Then step this way, step that way. Then step this way, step that way. Are you my friend? Are we locked in? Then step this way, step that way. Then step this way, step that way.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Damn. What? Hey, pull up all black, I'm not showing no test. I don't gotta do much cause they know I'm a mag. She is not fucking, so I'm not attached. But if she is fucking, I pull up and mad. She fucking, but this bitch keep running like track. I took it, you try me, this chalk going black. Need 10 for a show, you can check out my stats. I grab the front end, but I come through the bag. I rated it flat, one butt in it. I push the gas, hit the turbo, I'm swerving the scad. I ride with the gag, I put up threes like I am Curry. You missing, your name must be Shag. I come through like Gunner, I'm dripping like Warner. Guess I'm a roll runner, let's get to that mom. She say, can she for me? I say if she want. She don't show me nothing, I kick her and pawn her. Yes, I'm getting hot, it's on like a sauna. The green is on me, I feel like an iguana. My eye is locked, my vision is torn. I'm smacking that ass, I'm pulling her bones. Let's get to that money, 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 let's get to that A, let's get to that money, 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 let's get to that A. New shoes on my feet, but they don't got a crease. I'm talking in class while I'm trying to teach. Just moved to Atlanta, so I need a piece. I'm speaking that real, so they told me to praise. Shell drop, I'm finna lean in my seat. I'm pulling up until I know it is green. Mob ties, he can get hit with red. He wrinkles, so I might hit him once he hit with this truck. Can't fold with the dog. These niggas gon' quack, these niggas gon' club. It's not going down, so you know it's stuck. Yeah, I'm getting bugs like Milwaukee bugs. Swish! I'm on the camera, they rated my drip. My shirt came from Neiman's, my pants come from Phil. She TikTok and moving them. My niggas got New York, I'm in. Let's get to that money, 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 let's get to that A. Let's get to that money, 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 let's get to that A. Let's get to that money, 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 let's get to that A. Let's get to that money, 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 let's get to that A.
Shout out to our American Aborigines. TV is in the building. The Aboriginal TV is in the building. We got it, the Geechees in the building. Top of the morning balance for the evening. We got 21 people in the building. I know I'm a little early this grand rising, but I got to take care of tribe. So lose a little hour of sleep, but we'll still get an opportunity to do what we do best. Inspire, exchange, energy. You already know. How many of y'all gotta go get to that money today? We got 19 people in the building. I appreciate if y'all bang that like button, share the video out. Let everybody know we live. Who are you? Episode 6, tribe. Who are you? Episode 6. Let me get some ghosts in the chat and some TVs in the chat. Let me know We loud and clear.
Let's get to that money, 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 let's get to that, hey, let's get to that money,
Hey.
let's get to that money, 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 let's get to that.
Shout out to my brother Roger W.
Let's get to that money, 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 let's get to that, hey, let's get to that money, 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 let's get to that, hey.
All right, tribe. Let's get into today's show. Got another banger for y'all today. Make sure y'all bang that like button, share the video out. 9 for 9 is in full effect for every $9 of 9 donations or more. 9 donations of $9 or more. We're going to do a giveaway on Friday, top of the morning, balance of the evening. Let me see what we got up here. Shout out Yanita Yah in the building, Lawnmower Man in the building, Keith Cobbs in the building. My brother Roger W in the building. Bronze in the motherfucking building. Chief Jonesy in the building. What up with it? Craig Lloyd in the building. A-Dots in the motherfucking building. What's up, tribe? Yeah, I'm feeling good at this shit. And let's see. Chief Sekhu. Of the Yamasse. Who are you? Episode 6. Let's go. Y'all ready?
But when we look at this part of it, now the question becomes, if the Creek people, and I can delve deep in there, you know me, I hate doing paraphrasing. I love quoting. But if we dive deep and we go into what it identified the Creek Nation as, there was not a Creek Indian that was not identified as a Negro. So I'll say real simple, where's the Negroes at? Oh, they're the freedmen now.
Yep.
They're the freedmen begging to be identified by those who was once not even considered Creek. That's documented. That's documented. That there was a different class of Creeks. The Creeks who were Creeks all looked like Negroes or considered Negroes to be Creeks. And then there was the mulattoes, there was the mixed breeds, there was those who were Creeks, all looked like Negroes or considered Negroes to be Creeks. And then there was the mulattoes, there was the mixed breeds, there was those I'm not gonna leave the show without literally quoting that statement, because that is more powerful than anything else when it comes to our identity. And me saying to people, stop looking for acceptance.
That's right.
But the only way I can do that, if I take that away from you, I have to provide you with something, and I'm providing them with the historical narratives and facts. And this ain't me. Don't get mad. Don't want to kill me. Just understand we all have the ability to research and read. This is not me wanting to disrupt a system or society. This is me saying that we have been separated and taken away from our identity, so much so that people who are claiming to be African American don't even feel that connection. What is African about you? What do you do that's African? Let's do them better. Let's simplify all that. Let's simplify all of it. You're saying we all came together if you accept being African American. I came on the ship that you came on. Yet for some reason, Mr. British, Mr. German, Mr. Spaniard, the applications and surveys don't say British American. The job applications don't say German American. The job applications don't say German American. You're all foreigners. If I'm a foreigner, why is it that you uniquely want to say African American?
Sending gift cards in bulk.
Good people. What's up? What's good, man? Blessed be your host, Caleb Smith. Today, we have a very special guest in the building, blessing our new space, our new studio, Chief Sekhu, man. He's doing amazing work. He's been doing that for decades. And we're about to talk about something, in your words on your live that's gonna get some people in trouble and they're feeling somewhat,
Right,
man, that's never a
right.
bad thing. But
Right.
first off, thank you so much, man, for pulling up, for your time, the scheduling, getting all this stuff coordinated on a short notice. I appreciate you greatly for that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you, Caleb. And I mean, I really appreciate being here, and thank you for inviting. And I know our schedule has been it's been real hectic. You know,
we
we
made it
try to
work.
make it work.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So thank you, and
Yes.
thank your team for everything that they're doing.
Much love. Chief, what's your name? Pronunciations, right? In the South, you know, people, they can drag A's, E's, things like that. Can you please break down how names are supposed to be pronounced in phonetics?
No problem. So first and foremost, our people speak Hichiti. Our people speak Hichiti. It's a Totanic Mayan language that's been forgotten amongst most. But it's still spoken partially spoken amongst the Miccosukee people, which are identified as Seminoles. And that's what we are. We're Seminoles. So, Animiki, Sekhu, Holem Hachitalame, Yamasse, Hajo, Miku, Yamasse, Yate, Miku, Fuse, Erepaka Hajo, Tukasi Matle. This is my heritage. And what it was traditionally, when you met a native person, they would identify themselves, their bloodline, and their honor, and their honor is their grandfathers and those who that were warriors. So in my situation, what I just said was, I am Sekhu Hajo, or Sekhu Hidden Eagle of the Yamasse Indian tribe. I'm the chief of the Yamasse Nation, and my grandfathers are Arapaka, which is also known as Sam Jones, and Tukasia Motley, also known as John Hicks. And so I have a heritage which spans on both sides of my family, which is why I'm considered a full blood. So John Hicks, Tukasia Motley, didn't necessarily have the best history, but that's on my mother's side. On my father's side, I'm Jones, which is Sam Jones. So a part of the Native heritage and culture is always starting the conversation out with the language and identifying yourself.
That's beautiful. Growing up, you know, here in the South, so many people have stories of Big Mama, you know, telling us, hey, know that y'all have like Native blood in you. And, you know, sometimes we'll try to like throw that aside. She's just talking. I know that slave ships is a real big thing too. How many of us do you feel like Black people are actually native to this landmass?
You know, it's crazy. So for your watchers and listeners, so much of the history has been taken away from us, and so much of it is relevant that we fall victim and prey to the narrative that was given to us through the education system.
For sure.
So we have to identify and address that first, that a lot of what we believe is taught to us. Now, if we take the fact that those who was teaching us kept us out of their educational system.
That's right.
Right? They did it purposely.
Yeah.
This was them teaching their grandchildren and their grandfathers, and they were teaching their children their history. So a lot of what we learned was them perpetuating what they wanted us to know, but not in the sense of truth and facts. The truth and facts lied into the narratives that they provided within the documentation that they gave in their memoirs.
Oh, wow. That's
right?
good. Yeah.
So we aren't being educated on the memoirs of the colonists. We're being educated on the system that they provided that says, this is what you need to believe because we have to support what we fabricated.
That's right.
In our justice system. And what I mean by that is those narratives where you have inside of the South Carolina journals, the Georgian journals, Native people coming to get an ear for their judicial system to say, hey, me and my children have been wrongfully put into servitude and we are Indians. That happened because the perception of what a Negro or African was. And we're not looking at this. We're not even deep diving in this because what TV says, what history says is the Indian people look this way.
There you go. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And okay, so let's do one better.
Okay.
Me and you can sit back and we'll watch a TV show, right? Where there was cowboys and Indians.
That's right.
Me and you can obviously see this is a white man pretending to be an Indian.
There you go.
We see the wigs.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And for my sisters who know, right? You know a bad lace front when you see one, right?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, when you're looking at this, you know it. You're seeing the pigmentation, you see the makeup, you see all these different things. And we circumvent that and we forget that white people were pretending to be blacks at one time on these same movies, right? In the pigmentation, you see the makeup, you see all these different things. And we circumvent that, and we forget that white people were pretending to be blacks at one time on these same movies, right? Blackface.
Yes.
And still do.
Yeah.
So and I'm saying all this to you because the question is basically a self-answering question if we are paying attention. See, what we bank on is that we no longer pay attention. We're so caught up in our world that we're not paying attention to the obvious. We circumvent the obvious now and say, this is what they did, this is what we do, because it's all about us. And so my life now is about being slayed and all these different terminologies that society have and the millennials have. But the history, the identity, the culture of your people is more important than anything else. Because if you don't know who you are, you have no future.
We got 49 people in the building, top of the morning balance of the evening. What's up, tribe? Episode 6, Who Are You? It's going to be one of them series that's just going to continue to evolve. Have a lot of plans for this series right here. I don't want to say too much right now, but it's gonna be one of them series, tribe. It's gonna be like 100-part series, and we on episodes. Okay, let me check you niggas out real quick. Make sure that we got some decent looking likes, and we do. Shout out to the tribes. Hope everybody's doing well this Grand Rising. Let's get to it, tribe. Chief Sekhu with the Yamasse. Who are you? Episode 6. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
So, to go back to your question, how many of us could possibly be and or are Native American? I couldn't even give you an accurate number because there were so many of us that was taken from America as Indians. This is documented to the West Indies.
Yes.
So many of us and Caribbeans, which I'm pretty sure that's going to be a question later on. So many of us that was written out as Negro, and that's a large problem within itself because we're not looking at the linguistics. Negro was not African. Negro was a description that the Spanish used. It's a Spanish word.
Black.
It's black. Right. And so anyone that was not European in color and nature was considered black. That did not mean you were not Native. Right. So much of the narrative, it gets so deep when you really deep dive into the conversation. And here's the problem. The problem lies in when you accept the fact that Big Mama said, and you say, oh, my grandmother was full-blooded, and she had long flowing hair and all the different things. Right. But she don't look like the Indians of today, and you don't look like the Indians today. You don't want to talk about who you are or possibly could be, or the fact that you do have an indigenous bloodline, right? Because of what we're being shown today. So you mentioned me and my Instagram posts and things like that. And every time I open my mouth now, the last post, I'm like, I'm finna get in trouble for this because I'm changing the dynamics of what history has shown us, and not doing it for me. This is not me saying this is what I believe, this is what I think. No, everything I do, I use the facts, not Black history and Black narratives. I use white history and white narrative. That's why it's called his story. So I use his story to tell the truth, because again, it was against the law for Negroes or Indians to read.
Yes, sir.
People don't even question that part. Why? Why? What were you hiding that you didn't want us to read?
It's the history and the facts.
It's the history and the facts. So again, I give so much and I got so much in my head.
Please. You good.
It goes back to, again, taking the pieces of the puzzle and painting the picture for yourself, right? And so the picture says that there was a narrative, a situation that you needed to support what your cause was, right? So we use words in a way that besuits us, that helps us. You know what I'm saying? And so to basically say to you is this: there is a large population of people of color who can readily identify their grandmothers or great grandmothers being Native, identifying themselves as Native, because that was my story.
That's right.
Yet we walk away from it because we don't look like what we've been programmed to believe Native Americans look like. Now, with that, where it hurts us is because when we take the stories of Native Americans and what history says Native Americans look like through the depictions, the images, right? The written narratives, it contradicts what we see today.
That's right.
It contradicts it.
Yeah.
And you cannot put a Native American into slavery according to what they look like today and think that it wouldn't be obvious that they were slaves. They would look like the African people. They had to look like them. They had to sound like them. They had to, everything about them. And we still forget the African people that was brought over here were from tribes.
That's right.
Right? They were still rocking, you know, the deer hides and the skins, and these were things that was customary to them. You know what I mean? No clothes. And so again, I'm trying to go back to make sure I answer your question fully. We cannot truly and honestly say how many of us exist that are Native Americans. What we can do is take the historical information that we have and use that to our advantage. And one of the things I talked about on our Instagram channel recently was the fact that they documented there was more Native American exported to the West Indies than there was Africans imported into America. And the number they gave at that point in time, which was the 1600s to early 1680 to 1770, was 30,000 to 51,000.
Wow.
They didn't say year, they didn't say month, they just said 30 to 50,000 or 51,000 Native Americans was exported to the West Indies. I had to look at, are they talking about from 1680 to 1707 or 1715? Because that's when it stopped. Or were they saying per year, per month, per day?
Wow.
We don't know how many of us still exist that openly and can historically claim their Native American heritage. Thank you for that long, drawn out question to give me that opportunity to share.
Hey, that's what you're here for.
Thank you.
I love that. The pen is mightier than the sword.
The pen is mightier than the sword.
Paper genocide.
Paper
that
genocide.
was a real thing. How did Europeans write us out from being native to this land to then being blacks and coloreds and all of those things?
So I'll simplify it in this selfish way. If you don't read my language, you don't understand my way of thinking, and you are supportive of me, you need me to teach you of my ways. And whatever I tell you is facts.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So that paper genocide happened real simplistically because as they put us in slavery, they was also raising children. And they was educating these children. And it goes back just simply to, what's your name?
Caleb.
Caleb. No, your name is Toby.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right.
What's your name?
Now I have to say Toby. I'll be forced to. Yeah.
Why? And it's not something you would just easily get. And the education system is the same way. The paper genocide runs deep. Because think about this. Today, we can go to Native events called powwows, right? And this is a situation that there is not a universal word. There was never a word called powwow amongst Native American people.
Wow.
I've never found that word in any Native language, from my understanding. I could be correct. I could be corrected. I don't mind being wrong. But powwow, which I'm pretty sure has a relationship. Every word has a root, right? But this is not something universally spoken amongst Native American people because we don't have a word for powwow, or we don't say powwow in Hichiti, right? The Creek language doesn't have powwow, okay? But the point that I'm making is that so much of who we are is taught to us and accepted. But when you go to these powwows, which is where I was going with this, you will see our pale-skinned brothers, and we have to call them that because I believe there's a creator. We say father, mother, the great mystery.
For sure.
But we have our pale-skinned brothers there that will identify as Cherokee, Seminole, Creek, right? A lot of them represent us in reenactments, things of that nature. And they will say, I am a Muskukali, a Muskogee, or Cherokee, or Cherokee. No one questions that. They're not pretendians. The only time they become pretendians when it's nothing but white people there. But they're not pretendians, and that's accepted because when you go to the Cherokee Nation, they're predominantly and look like white people.
Yeah.
This is the narrative that also I talk about on our Instagram channel, right? The fact that there is federal information, federal documents that says there was a unique identity and look to the Creek Nation. Then they specifically talk about the white brothers and sisters who look predominantly like white men. Okay? The paper genocide happened when we start watching the movies.
Yeah.
When we start believing. Remember Dancing with Wolves? I can name a ton of Indian movies.
Yeah.
Right? Leonardo DiCaprio just did one recently.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think Iron Cody, I just found out he was like Italian or something like that.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, and people who don't know who Iron Cody is the crying Indian, right?
Yeah.
And he had the hook nose, and he was.
It's crazy. Wow.
Listen, it's in facts.
Wow.
The thing that we have to do now is understand that they never expected us to read, so they documented everything. The best thing about Google is they digitize everything now. So everything that you need to know is now documented, and all you have to do is ask the right questions. Ask the right questions. You ask an AI right now something, it will give you an answer, but it may not give you the answer you want. You ask the right questions, it will give you the response, and it will give you what you want. That is the Google search system. So when we start asking these questions, Creek, Negroes, Black Indians, these different things, we're going to get the appropriate answer. The thing that I say to us and our people is, the paper genocide starts with you believing what you was told. So first omit Black. Omit the Black part. When you omit that part, because the Black will be synonymous to Africans, and it will be a part of the whole African Americans mixed with the Indians, and this is what you get, and blah, 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 blah.
There you go.
But one of the things that I've done inside of our Instagram and everything, every chance I get, is I will search and show images of Seminole women, Creek women, and it will say Seminole squaw. And I'll stop and I'll say, let's pay attention now. Yes, she looks like your auntie. Yes, she's wearing the bangs with the bun in the 1700s. But what does it say? It does not say Black Seminole. It does not say African Seminole. So when we start taking that part out and we start deep diving and looking and going back to the ancient Americas, and we start saying who was the first people that they saw, where are the depictions, when we start asking specifically, where is the information that goes against what history has been showing us, we'll find the answers that we want. So the paper genocide starts with our understanding and accepting the knowledge, what we've been taught. And it's so deeply rooted because our own people of color, will believe that narrative and will defend it. And they don't hear the Uncle Tom, they don't hear the slave mentality that was embedded in them when they say that. They'll defend the narrative that was given to them by their white oppressors, which is always topical, meaning that it is always something more recent than it is ancient. The real narratives lie before the more recent narratives, before Jim Crow, before Plecker, before eugenics. Those are the answers you want, to find the narratives that deep dive into the historical aspect of what did they see when they got here 1500s.
That's right.
These are the things we're supposed to deep dive. Stop taking the topical information, the first thing that comes up on Google, and then utilizing that as your source of information. And I don't mean that when it comes to the Yamasse, because everything we got right now is right now topical. But You know, so my point being that we have to look at this, and it's so scary because it's so complicated but simplistic. It's complicated because it forces people to think. If they think, then they'll say, this doesn't make sense, and I got a deep dive. Right? That's the hardcore shit. But when it gets simplistic, you're like, oh my God, I see why. I see what it is. I see what it is. I had a conversation with a West Indies brother. Matter of fact, if you go on my Instagram channel, you'll see him talk about the West Indies are supporting us, Australia supporting us. And that was so monumental to me.
It's beautiful.
And it was emotional. And we had a conversation afterwards. And I said it on a live later on. And I said to him, so we can prove that Native American people were sent to the West Indies, right? That's a fact. He said, yes, that's documented. No one can dispute that there was Native American people sent to West Indies. So I said to him, where are they at?
Hey, you! Stop what you're watching right now. If you drive your car less than 100 miles a day, then I'm about to show you a simple trick that can put hundreds to...
Where are the people who look like the Indian people here in America? Where are they at in the West Indies? Where's this group of people who look like the quote Seminole people today, the Creek people today, the Cherokee people today?
It's a good question. Yeah.
The Lakota. Because see, I'm attacking them now because now it becomes a problem. Like, oh, you know, no, stop. If they sent millions of Indians over to the West Indies, 1680, 1750, let's just simplify it and say they just sent 51,000. How are you going to send 51,000 people to Jamaica, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Antilles, Antigua? Name all of the countries and islands that make up the West Indies. It wasn't 51,000.
Wow.
Again, they said they sent more Indians over to the West Indies than they brought African people here. So there have to be a way more Indians over in the West Indies than there is people in America. Where are they at if they look like the people we see today? Just common sense questions. This is what they're scared of. The common sense questions. So now I'm gonna tie it into you. My Instagram page, because everything that I provide is always a link in historical narrative.
Yes, sir.
And you look at the Bureau of Indian Affairs, these people, the Department of the Interior, who federally recognize people. They take the historical narrative and their historical proof that they're tied to a historical people, and they take that information and say, how are you connected to them? Okay, you're federally recognized. And so they become a federally chartered organization. And you look at the documentation they have, it says to you, oh, the Creek Nation did very well as a Negro nation. Oh, stop, back up. Hold on. The Creek Nation was a Negro nation, and they talk about a Creek Negro Indian who was controlling it in the late 18th.
You know, that's what be the disingenuous shit for me, Tribe. Like, when providing legitimate documentation, you know, ultimately to have it being met with a certain level of just blindness. You know what I'm saying? After doing this for a certain amount of time, you'll start to see a pattern develop, right? Where it's not that you're trying, that you're not teaching well enough. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times as a teacher, as someone who is enlightening someone, you tend to blame yourself when the student doesn't reciprocate what's being said, or what's being said doesn't ultimately probe critical thought. It's very frustrating. What I've noticed, right, going through these different arenas and speaking to these different people, it's almost like a spirit, right? It's almost like a spirit that goes into activation or activates once you say one or two trigger words. It activates this this automated response for the system. You understand what I'm trying to say? And forgive me, y'all, I ain't had a lot of rest in these last few days, but hopefully y'all understand what I'm saying. So this automated response usually comes with illogical logic. And if you continue to provide fuel, for a lack of a better term, to probe organic thought, but for some reason organic thought just cannot seem to, you know, precipitate, for lack of a better terms, right? You're putting all these seeds in the ground for organic thought to take place, and it still doesn't take place. It's just automated responses of you're African, you're a nigga, you're a Negro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And when you try to question the logic that's being applied, basically the code just sends out another message of similar fashion. It's almost like talking to AI, no bullshit. Like, have we been talking to AI when talking to Pan-Africans and Native Americans? Like, you have to ask yourself, thank you, Pat, programming. Like, these motherfuckers is programmed like shit, and their responses are to program or reprogram an organic thought back into the system. You understand? So I just noticed that when presented with logic, when presented with things of this nature, as Chief Sekhu have just said, the Creek Negro Nation and the Creeks was like, when presented with that, usually the response to that is a programmed, automated NPC response. Gotta make you wonder a little bit.
1800s. See, all this ties back into the Indians that were sent to West Indies. See, you a lot of times people hear what I'm saying and they get caught up in what I'm saying at that particular time, but they never tie it all in. I'm trying to like, hey, let me lay this out here, and then y'all can figure out this part piece by piece, right? Because that's the part of the puzzle. But when we look at this part of it, now the question becomes, if the Creek people, and I can delve deep in that, you know me, I hate doing paraphrasing. I love quoting. But if we dive deep and we go into what it identified the Creek Nation as, there was not a Creek Indian that was not identified as a Negro. So I'll say real simple, where's the Negroes at? Oh, a Creek Indian that was not identified as a Negro. So I'll say real simple, where's the Negroes at? As there was not a Creek Indian that was not identified as a Negro. So I'll say real simple, where's the Negroes at? Oh, they're the freedmen now.
Are you stupid or something?
To be identified by those who was once not even considered Creek. That's to be identified by those who was once not even considered Creek. That's documented. That's documented. That there was a different class of Creeks. The Creeks who were Creeks all looked like Negroes or considered Negroes to be Creeks. Who were that there was a different class of Creeks. The Creeks who were Creeks all looked like Negroes or considered Negroes to be Creeks. And then
you know,
Liz, you crazy, dog.
there was the mulattoes, there was the mixed breeds, there was those who looked even white.
we owe you Pan-Africans and you other individuals who have internalized these ideologies and ultimately put them out to the people to be internalized as well. Like, you motherfuckers deserve a good smack in the back of the motherfucking head. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Try. Motherfuckers need to lick their whole hand and motherfucking smack the back of your shit. Maybe it'll motherfucking restart. You know, it'll connect you back to your ancestors or something, nigga. Because a lot of you niggas, man, this shit is sad. We got 91 people in the building. Let me get y'all to bang that like button, share the video out. Support the channel if you're enjoying today's stream. Top of the morning, balance of the evening. We're going to start y'all off right. Who Are You? Episode 6, featuring Chief Sekhu of the Yamasse. Let's go.
When we look at this part of it, now the people I'm saying, and they get caught up in what I'm saying at that particular time, but they never tie it all in. I'm trying to like, hey, let me lay this. The Creek Nation was a Negro nation, and they talk about a Creek Negro Indian who was controlling it in the late 1800s. See, all this ties back into the Indians that were sent to West Indies. See, you a lot of times people hear what I'm saying and they get caught up in what I'm saying at that particular time, but they never tie it all in. I'm trying to like, hey, let me lay this out here, and then y'all can figure out this part piece by piece, right? Because that's the part of the puzzle. But when we look at this part of it, now the question becomes, if the Creek people, and I can delve deep in that, you know me, I hate doing paraphrasing. I love quoting. But if we dive deep and we go into what it identified the Creek nation as, there was not a Creek Indian that was not identified as a Negro. So I'll say real simple, where's the Negroes at? Oh, they're the freedmen now.
Yep.
They're the freedmen begging to be identified by those who was once not even considered Creek. That's documented. That's documented. That there was a different class of Creeks. The Creeks who were Creeks all looked like Negroes or considered Negroes to be Creeks. And then there was the mulattoes, there was the mixed breeds, there was those who looked even white. And I'm not going to leave this show without literally quoting that statement, because that is more powerful than anything else when it comes to our identity. And me saying to people, stop looking for acceptance.
That's right.
But the only way I can do that, if I take that away from you, I have to provide you with something, and I'm providing them with the historical narratives and facts. And this ain't me. Don't get mad. Don't want to kill me. Just understand, we all have the ability to research and read. This is not me wanting to disrupt a system or society. This is me saying that we have been separated and taken away from our identity, so much so that people who are claiming to be African American don't even feel that connection. What is African about you? What do you do that's African? Let's do them better. Let's simplify all that. Let's simplify all of it. You're saying we all came together if you accept being African American. I came on the ship that you came on. Yet for some reason, Mr. British, Mr. German, Mr. Spaniard, the applications and surveys don't say British American. The job applications don't say German American. You're all foreigners if I'm a foreigner. Why is it that you uniquely want to say African American?
Trying to specify it, yeah.
Right. What are you keeping us from? See, no one's questioning this. We just accept it blindly. And I say, well, what do you do that's African? So throughout the years and over this last century, Kwanzaa, June 10th, Gullah Geechee, a word and term that wasn't even used until the 1980s.
That's what I was going to ask you about, yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And pushing the narrative. Why?
Yeah.
And the same people, my grandmother was still okay. Kwanzaa, June 10th, Gullah Geechee, a word and term that wasn't even used until the 1980s.
That's what I was going to ask you about, yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And pushing the narrative. Why?
Yeah.
And the same people, the Gullah people that I talked to, my grandmother was full-blooded Indian. Okay, so back up. And Indian tribes is matrilineal.
You ain't gotta talk about bodies that you never caught. You ain't gotta try to rock Prada, you can buy Lacoste. Tryna follow trends, gonna throw your Zen way off. Take a good look in the mirror when you feeling lost. Be yourself, king. Should be yourself. Should be yourself, king. Should be yourself. Should be yourself, king. Should be yourself. And really the greatest thing that you could be is to be yourself. It's a whole lot of insecurities on display. When he go and spend his whole advance on a diamond chain. When he tricking off on these hoes trying to fill the void. When he steady popping on these ends trying to numb the pain. When he flexing all on the gram showing off the bands. When he knowing damn well that he got it off a scam. I don't wanna see you do a bid trying to get a lamb. It's a lot of ways to go legit, think about your fam. Cause you ain't gotta lie to kick it. You ain't gotta pop prescription. You ain't gotta load up the stick. You ain't gotta slide on niggas. You ain't gotta spin the block. Cause you ain't really got no ops for real. That's just your ego trying to take over. Really, that's the one that you got to kill. Why everybody wanna be on demon time when your angels gon' ride for real? That feeling of emptiness deep inside is something the money will not fulfill. And we gotta get back alignment with God, cause that's the only way that time will heal. Yeah. Whoa. You ain't gotta talk about bodies that you never caught. You ain't never caught. Whoa. You ain't gotta try to rock Prada, you can buy Lacoste. Tryna follow trends, gonna throw your zen way off. Yeah. Take a good look in the mirror when you feeling lost. Be yourself, king. Should be yourself. Should be yourself, king. Should be yourself. Should be yourself, king. Should be yourself. And really the greatest thing that you could be is to be yourself.
Oh, Kwanzaa, June 10th, Gullah Geechee, a word and term that wasn't even used until the 1980s.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And pushing the narrative. Why?
Yeah.
And the same people, the Gullah people that I talked to, oh, my grandmother was full-blooded Indian. Okay, so back up. Talk to, oh, my grandmother was full-blooded Indian. Okay.
Yo, I need that clip. Chief Sekhu, you goddamn, you a goddamn, you a meme right there, nigga. That appalled. That nigga was appalled, and he does not steal.
Same
nigga.
people, the Gullah people that I talked to, oh, my grandmother was full-blooded Indian. Okay, so back up. Oh, my grandmother was full-blooded Indian. Okay, so back up. And Indian tribes is matrilineal.
Why they don't never tell y'all that? Why they don't say no shit like that? See, this what I be talking about. Nigga like me been out for fucking over a decade saying the same shit. Right? Now Chief Sekhu say, hey nigga, hey, I know Queen Quet. Nigga, I be talking to these niggas. I be talking to these niggas. They got the nerve to play African and say their grandmother was a full-blooded fucking Indian. This is what I be talking about. You fucking sellout ass niggas, bro. Y'all want to know why y'all losing land like a motherfucker down in? Let me get this motherfucking, this shit, boy, like, nigga be talking about he African and then say his grandmama was full-blooded Indian.
Gullah Geechee. A word and term that wasn't even used until the 1980s.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And pushing the narrative. Why?
Yeah.
And the same people, the Gullah people that I talked to, oh, my grandmother was full-blooded Indian. Okay, so back up. And Indian tribes is matrilineal. It's a matrilineal society. So if your grandmother is, you are.
It's through the mother. Yeah.
It's through your mother. You got a grandmother, that means you got a mother. What was she? It gets real. Listen, I'm here to start problems. I'm gonna be in trouble for this one too.
We're gonna be part of the prom tonight. We're gonna be part.
It's gonna be a problem.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. Common sense, right? You would watch football growing up, of course, Washington Redskins, and until I got older, I would realize, yo, his skin is just as dark as mine on that logo. Florida State Seminoles, same thing. The Olmec statues found in Mexico, they had wide noses,
right?
Black features. Why is it so hard for Black people here in America to accept that these people look just like you? And there's so much evidence out there that it's right in your face, whether it was the Cleveland Indians, Boston Braves at the time, they'll have a young Black child go out there with feathers on everything. But now, like, we can't even fathom that we can be indigenous to the same land.
Because of what you just started out the conversation with. Why is it so hard to believe, or for Black people to believe? Because that's what we do. We start out with that. Black.
Yep.
Right?
That's the terminology.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, what I like to say is real simple. Caleb, I owe you $1,000. I owe you $1,000. Next month. Caleb, I know I ain't paid you. I'm gonna make sure I get that $800 to you.
It's gonna start getting lower and lower.
Right?
Yeah.
This is black.
Mm.
When they said red man, matter of fact, I'll do one better for African American people. Light-skinned women was called what?
Red bone.
Oh, let's stop.
Copper colored people. Yeah, put a
called
penny
what?
in their hand. Yeah.
Light skin.
Yep.
Red.
Mm.
Right?
Right.
That's the truth of it.
Mm.
Even when it comes to the word Indian, the root word, I hear these brothers who are historically astute and self-taught, and they say, oh, the word Indian comes from indigenous.
Mm.
Wrong.
Mm.
Came from indigo.
Mm-hmm.
What is indigo?
Mm. Mm.
See, when you start getting to the root of a thing, the indigo is what they saw in the color of the people. So now when I look at my lighter skinned brothers and sisters, because that's what I call them,
Mm-hmm.
you don't look indigo to me.
Mm.
You don't look red to me. Your hair isn't wavy, isn't copper tone. It's the same thing they did to Jesus. Yahshua HaMashiach, Emmanuel, whatever you want to name him, right?
Yeah.
The Bible that they put right in front of everybody, they describe him completely.
They got a whole different picture.
Oh my God, what they say? Bronze.
Yes.
Burnt.
In a furnace.
Okay.
Hair like wool.
Okay, but we got images in black churches all around the world of what?
It's a hippie.
White man, blue eyes.
Yeah.
Opposite to what we're being taught. And again, I'm not trying to step on people's toes, but I'm talking about let's take information and read it the way it is. This is why the book is translated. The word translate means to change. When you
Has anybody put together that, okay, if the people were indigo, the indigenous or Indian came from indigo, right? Where was they producing the indigo from? Where was the indigo at? You know what else is interesting as well? This snake here, right? In the Geechee culture, we just call this a black snake, right? And we always say don't kill the black snakes, especially the black snakes with white bellies, because they eat other snakes, right? It was a king snake. Now this snake, ladies and gentlemen, look at it. Just look at it. This snake. Where is this snake? What is this snake? And where is this snake found? One may ask. So the snake they found here was called the indigo too. Now look at the region in which they say it inhabited or inhabits. Let me see if I can get it here. Oh, maybe I zoomed in. Oh, they won't let me go no closer than that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Back this shit up. Oh, there it go. So as you can see, and we know that it goes all the way up to here, and maybe a little bit further up in the lower South Carolina region. You know what I'm saying? But nobody ever put that together. So the snake is called the indigo. They say that they called them Indians because they were indigo, or it came from indigo. It inhabits the area far southwest to South Carolina, through Florida, and west to southern Alabama, and southeastern Mississippi. They also have a related species called the Texas indigo. That can be found in Texas and Mexico. So they have more than just one reference of like the term indigo and the people in the land there. That's all I wanted to show you. I was just curious. Like, nobody ever brings up the snake. Let's continue. Let's see where we at with it.
The word translate means to change. and blue eyes. Got images in black churches all around the world of what?
It's a hippie.
White man, blue eyes.
Yeah.
Opposite to what we're being taught. And again, not trying to step on people's toes, but I'm talking about let's take information and read it the way it is. This is why the book is translated. The word translate means to change. When you read something in its original language, when you go back to the root of it, Negro, black. Anyone who's Spanish knows. Morenos.
Yep.
All means what?
Black.
Black.
Yeah.
But then we say, my shirt's black.
Shirt's black, yes.
My skin is, well, how would you define me?
It's red. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Go back to, I owe you $1,000, but it's $800 next month. This is the part of what I'm saying to those of us. Every Native American tribe I've met, every federal petition I've met, all use Jim Crow and the Plecker Law and eugenics and all the different things to argue their federal petitions. They have to identify as Negroes to be recognized as an Indian tribe. Think about that.
That's deep.
Southeast Indians that apply has to prove they have Negro in them to be recognized. Don't believe me? Look it up, check it out. My argument has always been them. Has to prove they have Negro in them to be recognized. Don't believe me? Look it up, check it out. My argument has always been them. Why is the Yamasse a problem? I can tell you why the Yamasse is a problem. Because we're the only tribe that look like we were identified. How do I fake being a Negro? They be like, oh, y'all pretendians. How do you fake being a Negro? If this is a description of my people, how do I pretend to be something that I, quote, look like?
Oh! Sell online and grow your business with Wix e-commerce. Create a...
But you're descendants of us. Let's do one better. They say Seminole, Seminole, Cimarron, Maroon. So I hear my Maroon brothers say, oh, we're Maroons. To them, that equates to African. No, it doesn't. Cimarron, runaways, wild ones, the runaways. And you'll hear Seminole people say, no, that's not true. Well, I got links in our IG that says, yes.
They don't want for that to come out.
They don't want that to come out.
Yeah.
Because, see, they don't know. They're still following the same oppressors that they say oppress them. They're following their information. Most of the websites and information you get in Native American tribes that they say is oral tradition isn't oral tradition. It is a regurgitation of what the Europeans said.
It's written tradition. Yeah.
Right? But when we look at the word Seminole, runaway, you're going to tell me those you see as Seminoles today look like Negroes on a slave plantation. That the colonists couldn't mistaken them. Those my Negroes. You're going to tell me that the slave narratives inside of the court documentation, the judicial system that they have within the Lord proprietors, and all of the documentation that they have, which identified these as people as Negro that came off a ship, because that's what they did. They falsified paperwork. What do they call them? What is the terminology? I'm looking. I just had to come up with this the other day. Not the memoir, the manifesto.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, Aaron, he on it with the document.
I appreciate
so,
you.
That's gonna be 100%. You got it.
Yeah, thank you. So in the manifesto, it says from Africa, blah, 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 blah. Right? So how do you, as this light-skinned brother, say that I look like my original people, I'm full-blooded, and you don't look like none of what they described your people as? But I can show you where the Creek people all identified as Negroes. Matter of fact, I can even show you where books say the invention of the Creek Nation, which people hate when I do that.
Wow.
When I sat before Stephen Hahn and we had the 300th year anniversary for the Yamasse War, and the question was asked, it sounds like you're saying, what was the difference between a Creek and a Yamasse? And the man paused and you could see him breathe like, I got to really answer this. He said there was none. Why? Because the Yamasse were identified as Negro. The word Creek was invented for the purpose of treaties. They could not beat the Yamasse. And this is truth, and this is something people can look up. From the Yamasse War of 1715, which is when the West Indian slave trade just coincidentally stopped.
Wow. To
the Seminole War and Third and Second Seminole War. Let's go back. What is a Seminole? A runaway. or Seminole, runaways from the slave plantations. I mean, are we putting it together? Are we putting it together? It's why movie productions and documentaries are coming now and coming to us and coming to me and saying, hey, we need you in this, because they need to be factually correct in their documentation. And it becomes a problem to people who say, he don't look like us.
That's right.
He don't look like us. He's pretending. I can talk this way. I can do this. I speak the language. I can sit here and put on, a little Ebonics and sound like a native person. I can walk in the hood and I can sound hood. We got white people that walk in the hood. You can't tell them from a black person. You just close your eyes and listen to him. He sound like, right? Does that make him who he is? No. So yes, we can play the game if we wanted to. We have Yamasse people that look like modern day Indians, but they will tell you that I look this way because my ancestors was raped. That is the true acceptance.
Yeah.
That is the truth amongst people today. 2 years, 3 years ago, before COVID, we had the end of the world as we knew it. When everyone of color said enough is enough against people of color. Enough is enough. George Floyd changed the whole dynamics of the world.
That was major, yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Different countries, Native people, no one said anything derogatory against a person of color at that point. We're all team tired. COVID came in, separate, y'all, good. Y'all stay away from each other. And then everybody went right back to their typical racist way of thinking and ideology. It took that much for people to start forgetting what we first united for, what we got tired of.
Wow.
And went back to the normal. So now you have people like myself and my people in my tribe and people who are searching for themselves, who now have to say that equality that you want now, Mr. Native Indian, is what we fought for and gave our lives for you.
Hold on to your wig.
That's one thing they can never take about or take away from the Yamasse, that we fought for no matter what color, no matter what ethnicity. Yes, we put people in slavery, but our slavery was different compared to theirs. But we fought for them. We was the first Coast Guard. Wow. See, that is a part of Black history people don't even know.
Wow.
Fought for them. We was the first Coast Guard. Wow. See, that is a part of Black history people don't even know.
Wow.
We was the first Coast Guard for the North Atlantic region, the seaboard.
Say Black people are afraid of water though, right?
Oh, we Black, we afraid of water. Yeah. But as Creeks, we traveled up and down the water. Oh, we Black, we afraid of water. Yeah. But as Creeks, we traveled up and down the water. Think about that one.
Wow.
We did that. So again, yeah, and that's why I was telling you before we started the interview, I have so much in my head and so much information that I have that I try to express, and not in ways that I'm dictating to people, but in ways that entices you to think and research for yourself. Don't take what Chief Sekhu is saying. Go and research it for yourself.
Yes,
and if you still doubt that, go to our Instagram page, and I try my best to provide as many links and information as I can so that you are guided. But stop taking the narrative and stop being embarrassed to be who you are.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I have Creek brothers and sisters that look white. I have Creek brothers and sisters who look modern day Indians, and I have Creek brothers and sisters who look like us. And I identified me as Chief, who thank me every day for sharing this message, because they know they cannot change the historical narrative. And they need me to be able to explain for them why they're Creek, why they're Yamasse, what happened. And those are the people we honor more than anything. Those who accept and say, yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, I look white, but my blood has Negro in it. So I apologize again.
Hey, we cooking up. I love this. Yamasse people, strong people, of course, fighting all of that. Andrew Jackson, what impact did he have on the men of the tribe, having to hide, change their names, all of that?
Most of the colonist superheroes are on the money.
Dang, that's true.
I like to say they banked on them. Let's do that. They banked on them.
Literally.
Right? So when you look at Andrew Jackson, who has a whole Yamasse region, Temukwa, Wale region, Jacksonville, named after him. Right? No one's saying let's change Jacksonville, but you're talking about one of the most racist men there was. What he did was what most typical white people did. What people don't realize in the colonial society was it was customary. We watch their videos and we watch their history, like the Game of Thrones and all different things, right? And you see men on men and things like that. That's fine. Right. But this is what they did to men. They would take a man's manhood.
Buck breaking, things like
100%.
that. Yeah.
But they went deeper than that. They would take the innocence of a child.
Wow.
This is who Andrew Jackson was. The same society that we have today, that if you went and slept with a little 13-year-old girl, you'd be in jail. They did.
Thomas Jefferson did that. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
The history of these people are something that we don't have to question. We know time and time again. The only thing we have to say, which is why we're looking at, as we learn history, they're trying to change the narrative of history. So we don't want you to tell the story of these people who made you as white people rich because you didn't have to do their work. Let's not tell that slave trade. I don't want to say no particular governor's name. Let's not tell that story because I don't want my children to feel guilty over something their ancestors did. But then you'll turn around at the same time and acknowledge, memorialize African-American history, which means you accept that you were slaves. You accept that you did and were this to my people. But don't teach that ish to my children in school to make them feel bad. This type of society where now I have to recognize people's rights and how they want to identify and who they are.
Yeah.
But let's hide what my people did. So you're making the ultimate. You want them to be the ultimate. As long as we're together, as long as we're together as two women, I can accept that. But what we did to black people or African Americans, let's push that to the back. Think about that. This is what Andrew Jackson and the rest of these people did. This is the society they created. And as we move forward in a country who boasters, we're the most free country in the world.
Land of the free.
We're the most rich country in the world.
Yeah.
We will suppress the history of the people and what we did to them because we don't want that thrown in our face. And it's what I tell people about the whole aspect of the historical Band-Aid. We keep putting a Band-Aid on something. It will never heal until we address what has happened to the suppressed people that we did it to. You're going to other countries today, and think about America as a society. We're going to other countries to give them freedom as slaves, but we hide the history of what we did to our slaves. That makes sense to everybody.
Democracy.
Oh, democracy. Democracy. And the hypocrites that we are, we accept that. We went over there and saved them people. They're free now. Their women have rights. And we ain't got rights. We don't have rights. An Asian person come over here, a Japanese person come over here and get any kind of racial discrimination or murdered or killed. There's money thrown at that community for that issue.
Right.
And when one of us get killed, it's, well, what did he do to do it? Like, we don't walk into stores and we're not talked down to by Asian people who look at it a certain way, because America teaches, and this is documented. Go look it on TikTok. Go, y'all look it up, because now that's what digital society. Foreigners tell you that when we come over here, we're taught how bad black people are.
Like that, man. That's scary that you said that.
Come on, man.
I just saw that on TikTok.
Come on.
Yep.
We're taught how bad you are. So now they come here opening up businesses that you can't open. No money, no credit. And they'll talk down to you, but take your money.
And sell you your own.
And sell you your own hair products.
Wow.
We don't understand how messed up this is. Again, let me shut up because I'm causing problems.
Hey, we're gonna.
I'm trying to be here till I'm 90 or 120.
Hey, we're gonna make sure that you're gonna be good. Hey, you already protected.
That's what's up, family.
You already protected, but that's powerful. Yamasse tribe as well had a lower and upper chieftain. How massive was this tribe?
Our tribe, the Yamasse tribe, had the largest the largest chieftain. Matter of fact, before, you can look this up, before there was ever a Cherokee upper and lower region, there was the Yamasse upper and lower region. Right now, we've calculated there was well over 400 towns and villages that spanned from the top of North Carolina. People fail to realize there was, and see, they try to do is, oh, they're from South Carolina, and no, there was no South Carolina, it was the Carolinas originally.
That is
right.
Yep.
And then it expanded over to Alabama and Louisiana, all the way down to Florida.
Wow.
Right? So we went from almost the Midwest all the way over to the Southeast. Why is it no one's questioning? Why don't the Native American people in the Southeast, the Lumbee, name them, right? The Catawba, any of these tribes, Seminole people, why they don't look like the Lakota, the Apache?
On the West Coast.
Yes.
Got you.
Right? That confederacy. We had a unique identity. The Yamasse had one of the largest confederacies there is. And people don't understand that. Why was the Yamasse War so detrimental? Why was it considered the bloodiest war? See, they'll stop and say, when we went, we started out with 19,000 of us. So you mean to tell me 19,000 Yamasse, and people will say, oh, it wasn't just 19,000 Yamasse, it was a conglomeration of different tribes that helped the Yamasse. No, that's not what Oglethorpe and Craven said. They said all these are Yamasse. That's documented. But 19,000 people, I bring all my brothers and warriors, all you all who's watching this, and I say, we're finna go to war. You're just twiddling your thumbs at 19,000. We only killed 400 white people, though, in Charleston. So it took 19,000 people to kill 400 people. It wasn't considered the bloodiest war because of their numbers. What they could not do is never look like they were the victims.
That's right.
Which is why our name was also written out of history. Which is why there was no longer Yamasse. We became known as Creek. We're no longer Creek. We became known as Seminoles. You see? Again, back to it. It's always going to go back to the paper genocide.
Wow.
Because they knew at this point, at some point, people gonna read. And they're gonna see these Negro Indians that wreaked havoc. And then you'll go back to the Seminole history and you'll pull up these Indians who are not identified as African or Black Seminoles. And they are looking dynamically Black. And you'll say the Yamasse were identified as Negroes. In the late 1900s, they still had Seminoles who looked like Negroes. And these are the same Negroes that was fighting. It changes the dynamics and the way of thinking. That we are a warrior society that was peaceful. But we looked a certain type of way. That Confederacy spanned it. And you will see it within the realm of the ancient text and identity amongst the Catawba, who people says, the Yamasse are my ancient people. The Cherokee, who has several chiefs that when it came time to go to war to said, those are my ancient people. What do they mean by ancient people? You have ancient people in your bloodline. That's why you're here, right?
Yes, sir.
You got to look like them.
Because I came from them.
Because I came from them. So, my point is that it goes way deeper than most people think. And I'm really trying to give enough information that allows them to take contextual portions of what I'm saying. And if they don't get nothing else, oh, that hits home. Oh, that's something I remember him saying. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, wow, let me look that up. I try to give enough information that we can take little bits and pieces. And I hope that everyone, comes back and eventually play this podcast back and don't just listen to it, watch it.
Yeah.
Take notes.
For sure.
Come back, watch it. Damn it, if it takes you making this podcast 1 million views, do that, because there's so much that I'm sharing that you can research for yourself that will give you information. The biggest dishonor we can give to our ancestors is forgetting them. Think about the way they lived back then. Your grandmama, great-grandmamas. Your great-grandmother may have been born in the 1940s or 50s. Your great-grandmother, right? Your grandmother might have been born in the 1970s because of your age. But your great-great-grandmother was born in 1900s. And in the 1900s, they were still hanging Black people.
Yeah, actually, my great-grandmother, she was born in 1916.
So there you go.
And she would have those stories about lynchings and all of that.
And lynchings and things like that. So we walk today amongst ourselves where our biggest adversary is ourselves. We're more worried about ourselves than we are worried about them, because they have now allowed us to kill ourselves. But there was a point in time in your bloodline where walking past a white person or looking them in their eyes or even having a conversation with them could get you killed. Now, take out electricity, take out cars, take out internet, take out mobile phones, take out gas, propane, take out all the conveniences that we have that our ancestors had to survive in without. And then tell me they don't deserve acknowledgement? That it's not your duty to find out who you are? It's not your duty to honor your ancestors, because if you exist today, that means somebody existed then, and that their struggle was not your struggle that you're crying and bitching about?
Hey man, we got 108 people in the building. Top of the morning, balance of the evening. Wherever you are, shout out to all the American Aborigines. The likes is looking good. Let me get y'all to share the video out for me one time. Support the channel if you're enjoying today's stream. Who are you? Episode 6. Sekhu. Let's go.
That it's your struggle that you're crying and bitching about. That every time our women had children, they didn't have doctors. They didn't have people that, it's gonna be okay, and pop them in their back with an epidural and stuff like that. No. They had to have babies in the middle of wars. They had to have babies in lakes and creeks where alligators and where blood attracted these animals. They had to have babies during times where they was in transit for freedom. And you mean to tell me they're not worthy of you honoring them and researching them? How dare you? How dare you? While you live comfortably in your designer clothes and your lives. How dare you? The greatest honor you can give your ancestors to say, I remember you, grandmother. I appreciate what you did. Thank you. You may not know the whole story, just knowing a piece of that story, knowing that the time she lived in, because again, we are not here. We keep forgetting this. We are not here if we did not have an ancestor who lived in the days and times that we read about. That is what it is to be Native. That is what it is to be an Indian. Ceremony for us isn't running around dancing and yelling and all this. No. It's remembering our ancestors and what they did to survive. It's taking ourselves out the elements, taking ourselves away from cell phones, modern stuff, getting out there in the circle, understanding their dynamics, understanding what they was doing it for, what they was praying for, what they was hoping to invoke. And honoring them. Amongst our people, we have green corn. It's our new year. Our new year is us honoring the first corn, the first ripening of fruits and vegetables. Us asking the Creator, us paying homage to the Creator, that He bestows upon us a fruitful year, no war, no death. Being able to hunt, the deer being plentiful, the beavers being plentiful, fish being plentiful, right? Invoking animal spirits that made us better hunter-gatherers. See, we don't understand what it is. And see, they've made it so mystic and, oh, you're dishonoring my people and why are you, get out of here. We understand the dynamics of what was really going on. So when we go into ceremony, we're honoring our ancestors. And so much of what your ancestors are is passed on through African-American society. They don't even realize it. New Year. What do you do in the new year, guys?
Collard greens.
Oh, you clean your house. Make sure everything clean, right?
Black-eyed peas.
Black-eyed peas. You put on. Okay, I can tell you 100. You come to green corn, it's the same thing we do. We just don't do it in the Gregorian year. That's his new year. We're doing practices out of sync when we were doing it. It's the same thing Native people do. That is green corn. You introduce new babies, family members. Everybody meet who? Big Mama. Because we're a matrilineal society. She runs the tribe. Right?
That's not a coincidence.
There's no coincidences. You clean your house. Make sure your house is clean. Because they say if you come into the new year.
Bad spirits.
Okay.
Too many correlations.
That's a tribal thing. We're just dancing with other people during the time of year they say it exists. During their time of doing it. Again, I'm here to cause problems.
Hey, we're going to keep causing those problems. Y'all, make sure, man, y'all are taking notes. Big Mama, right? We have movies like Soul Food. Growing up, my family, till this day, I think we're on our 63rd consecutive year of family reunions every single time. But hearing your story, previous interviews, sit-downs, talking about powwows 2 to 3 times a year. Black families still have those, right? So how can we correlate and like understand, hey, we still have those same traditions, ideologies. It's just we were told something different.
We just did. The thing that it's not even correlated no more. We are now individualizing our lives to the point where me, I don't have time. Me,
yeah,
right.
Separate.
And so we're looking now for acceptance from people who are not even related to us. See, the ceremony is now stopping. The family, the tribal unit is separating. We used to sit back, and this is within my time frame. I'm not that old, you know what I mean? I'm only 35, sort of, kind of, which is a lie, everybody. I'm not 35. But I grew up in a time where, of course, traditionally, as Yamasse, we did it. But we also watch other people come together every Sunday and have what?
Sunday dinner. Yeah.
When the last time you've been to a family Sunday dinner? Every Sunday of the month.
Yeah. Long time.
Most of us don't even do family reunions no more. We see each other on Facebook.
Yeah, that's it. Sunday dinner, I know for me personally, it's probably like once a month max. Wow.
So we're getting away from our traditions, and this is applied amongst all Native people. The argument now with Native people is they're losing their youth. They're losing their customs and tradition. See, U.S. government has just plotted, and I can't make this up. Look it up again. They're saying in another 20, 30 years, there won't be a full-blooded Indian or no one that can be considered Indian anymore.
Wow.
Because what Native tribes say, which is what I want people of color to understand, you may be able to prove that you are tied to a historic tribe. You may be able to prove through Dawes Rolls, Freeman Rolls, or whatever rolls, Miller Rolls, whatever they're using, that you are connected to Cherokee, Seminole, Creek. You know what their thing is? Oh, well, if you don't practice your traditions, you're not Indian no more. You might well say you're black or you're white.
So it's not about the bloodline.
And that's important to us. We need to understand that. Get back into your family traditions. Start honoring and recognizing your ancestors. Start having the family dinners. Start reconnecting as a unit. Because we're all going to get older. I don't give a damn how well you look now.
It's nature. Yeah.
You're going to get older.
Yeah.
And your values and what you believe in now, and this video probably will be another 100 years. Hopefully someone's playing this back. Everything you believe in now will not apply when you become 40, 50, 60 years old if you live that far. You're going to want the acceptance. You're going to want to be recognized for you being able to continue on when your friends and family members were dying through improper health, through going out and gangbanging, through, car accidents. You want that acknowledgement to be called grandmama, grandpa, papa, mama, nana, whatever. You only can live on if you're acknowledged for your accomplishments, because the world isn't getting easier, it's getting worse. The world that we live in today, at my age, I would have never foresaw happening. What makes this message powerful that I have, and why we're picking up so many people, and someone recently said, why are we trending? Because my trend is family unity. Even if I die tomorrow, people are catching on that it's about unity. I don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, Latino. We have all of those dynamics within the Yamasse people. But the question that I'm saying to everyone now is, get past that BS. They're telling us now there's aliens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what happens when there's an alien invasion? You think your color's gonna matter?
Nah, it's gonna be human.
It's gonna be human.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna see color? Yeah, hey, brother. You gonna see a white man's calling you brother, Indian brother calling you.
He gonna need some help.
Yeah. We all need help, damn it. Because they are technologically more advanced than us.
That's right. That's right.
Right? So let's get there now. Let's start that journey now. Let's honor our ancestors now. Let's pay homage to our ancestors now. This is the Native way. This is the way of thinking. This is the way of being in tune with the world today. Regardless of whatever I say, no matter how you take whatever I said and internalize it, and you say, damn, these people did this to our people, and you want to make this a racial thing. No, stop all that. What I'm saying to you is take the history, learn, understand it, Identify yourself. Stop looking for approval, but then let's Voltron up. Let's unify.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're more powerful doing this than we are doing this.
That's right.
We do this, we can have whatever we want. And this is not a American thing. I'm talking about the world. When we can do this, when we can do this, and it's be inseparable. When our women can start acknowledging the hardships of our men, the warriors, the ones that we sent out to battles. When we start acknowledging, see, that's a tribal thing. The matriarchs, the women. Men will give their lives. You don't have to have one baby from your girlfriend or your mate. But you, when that, baby, what's that? I don't know.
Go check.
You're gonna go check. You're going up to give your life up. That's what an Indian would do. That's a warrior.
Wow.
Sending gift cards in bulk can be a nightmare. But what if it could be tremendous? Tremendous is a platform that takes the stress out of sending
no gun. Let's knuckle up. Straight knuckle, right?
That's it. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, what you're doing, you're giving her a chance to do what?
Run away if she needs to. Yep.
So our women have to start doing the right thing by our brothers. When you have a real man that's willing to give his life for you, your children, your existence, love him, acknowledge him. Brothers, when you have a real woman that has your back, or women that have your back, acknowledge them, give them what they need. Easier said than done because we get caught up in me. Me. But this podcast don't exist basically on you.
No.
This podcast, I'm looking at the brothers and sisters that's in here.
That's impossible.
It's impossible. We're more powerful as a unit than we are ever separated. And we are together because we believe in a thing. Those people who are here now believe in this. So what happens when it goes beyond podcasting? Because now we're part of the movement. Every one of y'all are part of the movement. You cannot not hear this. What happens when we start thinking outside of the podcast and start saying every conversation we need to have from this point on needs to be about that solidarity? Because if I have 1,000 people all saying and utilizing and recognizing the Yamasse, if I have 1,000 people that just give $1, not 50, not 100, not 10, just one. That's $1,000 a month times 12.
12,000. Yeah.
That we use.
Just
not
off
Sekhu, just off $1.
Wow.
See, the dynamics change when we start and stop thinking too big and start thinking big enough. This is the message of the Yamasse people. This is what we are really doing. This is who we are. This is what we did in the 1700s. This is what we did in the 1400s when they met us. This is what we did when they met our people on the shores and we taught them, showed them how to hunt, how to farm, how to stay safe. We have never changed as Yamasse people. That's why we was considered the fiercest of warriors. It wasn't just fighting, knuckling up, bows and arrows. The fierceness came because we had the ability to unite people through conversation. My ancestors said, hey, we can't keep doing this. We're taking L's. At some point in time, they will want the Yamasse to have no more land than a turkey can fly over. And if people ain't familiar with a turkey, turkeys don't fly that far. And that's what they did. That's what the war was about. That we gave and we gave and we gave and we fought and we fought and we fought and we believed and we believed. Some of us believed you all. Some of us believe, with the British. Some people believe the Spanish. Some people believe the French. We gave, and y'all just kept taking and taking and taking and taking to the point where it just disrupted. It just came too much. Because I can only poke you in your head too many times before you as a man, no matter how passive you are.
You gonna snap.
I'm gonna snap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna snap. And in summary, that snap eventually like, oh, we can't beat them. We got to write them out because our money is stopping now. Oh, y'all can't beat them? Oh, we can't send them money. We're not going to. And so that's what happened. But we as the Yamasse people, the message that we're giving is still about unity. This whole thing that we did today was about historical narratives that lead up unto still unity. Reconnecting with ourselves, paying homage to our ancestors, paying homage to your truth and your reality. But stop wanting to do it and trying to be by yourself doing it.
That's right. Chief, you killed this. my very last question on the way out, because you've been so gracious with your time.
Thank you.
90 plus minutes, man. Thank you. DNA test, right? So many quote unquote Black people take these tests, but we don't listen to that oral history of Big Mama. And on those tests, 9 times out of 10 for, again, quote unquote Black people, will be Nigerian, West African, and it's mixed with this percentage, that percentage. But me looking at you, you looking at me, you don't say, oh, he's 20% this, 30% that.
Right.
Should we believe these tests? And second part of this question as well, according to these tests as well, why is it that the natives on the West Coast aren't as dark as the ones in the South? Is that a environmental or a climate thing, or how did that whole process start too?
All right, so you asked several different questions.
Right.
Oftentimes, the way the questions are formed, it's hard to really itemize each one.
Right.
One of the things is, let's talk about the genetic test. First and foremost, this ain't something I made up. This is something that's online that people can research. When you look at Mr. Gates and the rest of these guys, there is a ongoing video on YouTube and TikTok where they talk about, you know, the fallacy behind genetic testing, okay? They openly say that. That is it is like a, what do they call that when you, novelty. Because here's the thing. For someone to identify Yamasse, meaning that they would have to have the blood of my people back in the 1700s that they can test my blood against now.
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your...
Yep.
Right? The blood that's being used is people who are identifying as Native today. Why is it that synonymously Native American always coincidentally have Asian in it? Native American / Asian. Matter of fact, when I got my my voter's registration card, which is my driver's license has Native American because they don't put that in the system no more. It used to have black and white and all the stuff. Now it just says your name and all the stuff. But inside the system, they identify you. Mine says Native American, but my voter's card said Asian because that's what it translates to. Because that is the dynamics and that is the template that they're using today. Now, why is that? Because they've proven, and you can YouTube this and find it for yourselves. Look it up. There's a YouTube video circulating where they talk about the real Native Americans, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what it's called, who were the first people. And they talk about, then they show the powwows and those running around now. And if you notice, an Asian can put on a headdress, powwow, regalia, and stuff like that, and pass as a Native American. Because those are the Mongoloids that came in from Siberia, that came over through the continent or the land bridge. Now, let's do one better. Let's make common sense. We were all to school. And when we went to school, they talked about the continent, and it was called a Greek word, Pangea.
Yeah, it was all connected.
So it's all connected. And here's what I tell people in every conversation. You're believing that as the world separated, that everyone that was African ran to Africa. We all got together. All the black people just ran to Africa.
Wow.
All the Asian people ran to Asia. All the European people ran to Europe. Even though science has proven, and I'm just going to use this loosely because there's an older now genetic or genome that's been proven, but it still always goes back to a black woman. Science has proven that everyone came from one person called Lulu Amalu, Lucy.
Yeah, it was Lucy. That's right.
Now they have an older bone that they found as well. I don't know the purpose behind this. Time, DNA, mitochondria, which everyone needs to know, mitochondria is the oldest, right?
That's right.
DNA that you can find within the women, which is why men, and I hate to deal with everybody's ego, men are defective women. Because a woman is a XX chromosome, right?
Yep.
And men are XY.
Yep.
And we are XY based on a broken or a defective chromosome. Okay? So there's a genetic proof that everyone is connected to one woman. Why do we? Let's do one better. West African never existed. There is not a genetic person that exists in West Africa. That's a terminology used.
Yeah.
It is a place and a region. How do I prove that you have West African in you?
A made name too. Yeah.
On a made up name.
Wow.
Well, they say, oh, well, whatever is in the West African coast, your DNA, because our environment determines where we are.
Right.
Is inside of that genetic makeup. right? Which now doesn't make sense to me, because if you're using the genetics of an environment, meaning that the air quality, the trees that are only exist in West Africa, the pollen, the dirt, the sand, all this is within my DNA because we have genetic markers inside of us. If that only exists there, but you can find out that I have 45% West African in me and 10% Sub-Saharan, is that's their favorite thing, or Asian, why is it that my ancestors were here, according to you, 400 years and I'm not American?
Dang. By this point, yeah.
Oh,
it's almost half of 1,000 years.
Hold on, because I am what my ancestors was, where they lived, what they breathed, what they ate. Those are genetic markers, right? You break your bone right now, guess what? Your child have that scar in his DNA where that bone was broken.
Wow.
Right?
Correct.
If I'm wrong, y'all please stop me. So if we've been here for the last 400 years, how do you say I'm majority West African over something? And if we do our playbacks, and I'm not saying this, I'm not gonna say this right, I forgot, it was so many, I think 8 generations is 276, and my numbers are wrong, so please forgive me, but 8 generations back is 276 people. Maybe 226, 224. But y'all know that 8 generations is a whole lot of back. Why is that DNA more dominant in your DNA test? And you're talking about that branch, that tree, mom, dad, mom's mom, dad, mom, dad, dad, mom, dad, mom, mom, dad, right? You get what I'm saying? Right. And it just gets larger and larger, but then it gets less and less. Right? The more we add water to something, it dilutes it.
That's correct.
So how the hell is my DNA coming back 45% of something from a country that I haven't been in for over 400 years?
Wow.
I'll leave you to think about that.
And pay for that too.
And pay for
the
that.
same people who
pay for that
to tell
and
you
pay
where they
for
stole
that.
you from.
100%.
Wow.
100%.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that is and this is a very rudimentary answer. It's very simplistic in nature. I'm not a scientist by far, you know what I mean? But I'm using common sense in this, and I'm using what they do say they use in order to identify it. And I want people to understand the dynamics of it. But more than anything, investigate. Investigate. You're giving your money to someone or something to identify you, to prove who you are. When the Native tribes and Native American people, they don't do that. You know how they do it?
How do they do it?
Who's your grandmama?
Simple.
Real simple.
Wow.
Who's her mother?
All right, cool.
Oh, so you're 119th, 164th, blah, blah, blah. I done met white people who say, oh, I'm 164th Cherokee, and they hold cards.
Me, man. That kills me.
I have not met a white person yet who ain't had an Indian or Cherokee Indian princess. So all y'all related?
Guys, y'all know that migrants are having spending costs.
Oh, my grandmother was I don't know how true this is. She's an Indian princess. I'm Cherokee. Now I know my skin is white and dot. And then I say, well, yeah, I'm Seminole. I'm Yamasse. Oh, y'all mixed breed? I didn't ask you, was you mixed breed? Are you African and black?
Because there's no way he could be Native. Wow. Indoctrination.
Indoctrination. Because again, they will grow up watching the same Western movies, man. Right? See, I'm always gonna go back because I'm a songwriter, so I'm gonna take it back to you. Wow. So no, you know me, honestly. We live in a world now today we can question, we can ask questions, and everything that you want now is right before you. This ain't not something Chief Sekhu is making up. This is stuff that everything I said to you, you can go look out for yourself.
That's right.
And there's gonna be debates on it because you got people who want to believe the narrative, and I'm a Boondocks fan, so
that's my favorite show, man.
Uncle Ruckuses. You got your Uncle Ruckuses, right? Greatest thing ever happened was a white man. I get it, right? But then you have the people who say, and believe this truly, there is less of those naysayers than there are people who are astute. There is more historical information that can prove everything I've said than there is people who can disprove it.
That's right.
But all it takes is one person to set you in motion to make you think against what you've been taught.
That's right.
And the most powerful thing ever happened was when I did a documentary called By Any Other Name, okay, from Kennesaw College. Stephen Gale did it.
Oh, wow.
And he brought in his genealogists, the biologists, the archaeologists, anthropologists. Something one of them said was so powerful. He said, every picture you see of a Black Indian that is historical evidence. He said every oral conversation you have about your grandmothers or your grandfathers is oral evidence. It's how we tie in to the history that we're seeing documented by the settlers. We was recently invited by an archaeologist, who was, uncovering pottery and things of that nature of our people. And she said, well, we call this, and we call this, and it's just a rudimentary term that archaeologists use when we really don't know what it is. So then I'm saying, well, this makes more sense for my people to do this than this. And this is why she needed us there, to be able to say, instead of making an assumption, because 90% of science and history is assumptions.
Yeah, it's all theoretical.
It's all theoretical, right? Yeah. There is no need to rewrite a book about the Yamasse from Florida to South Carolina if definitively the Yamasse no longer exists. But when you start taking, and these historians say, we're not pushing that narrative anymore because everything we read now through all the memoirs of all the different people living in different areas, so the Yamasse do exist. So now what do? The historians do? They take all these memoirs and they go to all these different areas and they take this information and then they backtrack the oral history,
quote it,
and stories of the people to put together the new narrative and the new truth.
That's right.
So now they're saying, not what I'm saying, I know who I am. The Yamasse aren't extinct. They were just renamed. I didn't make this up. They're doing more research than me. And that's what we're saying now. Pay attention to what's happening. There is no need for anthropologists or genealogists to rewrite history or get a grant to redo information that is 100% solidified as facts.
That's right.
Right? Yeah. What we're learning now today is everything that their ancestors thought was factual isn't factual. We're now learning more. The natives knew of the star constellation before we ever knew it.
That's right.
Oh, the natives, which was pagans, were saying trees have life. They were pagans. They believed in things and animals who had spirits.
Tree huggers now.
And now what are they doing? Yeah. Everything that the native people were sharing with them, they're revisiting and saying, oh, wow, they had something here. They got something.
Herbalists now, too.
Herbalists. Yeah. So, no, you know what I mean? Let's rethink and let's reevaluate the way we think. Let's stop taking old information and making it applicable and our facts. Now we are in a point in time to where we don't even understand the dynamics of being able to read because we don't read no more. We're now looking at TikTok shorts and our attention span is that big because we're looking for value in things that only is giving us that endorphin rush for 15 seconds. And we're scrolling up, we're scrolling up, we're scrolling. Stop all that. The greatest thing you can ever do is find out who you are. The greatest thing you can ever do is find out who your people were. The biggest honor you can ever do and the blessing that you can get is through acknowledging them. There is nothing I did myself. Everything that has happened for the Yamasse people through me is because I gave myself to my ancestors to say, whatever you want from me, whatever you need me to do, let's go. I walked away from a music industry and millionaire status. I had a choice. I could have got back in. I was given an option. They was making millions or making history.
That's a bar. Chief, you bodied this interview.
Thank you, brother.
Next time, if it's later, if it's sooner, hey, we got to have a part 2 of this because
100%.
I still have 10 million more questions.
100%,
so many facts that I'm trying to learn from you, all of that, but keep doing great work. It's amazing, seeing someone who looks like me sharing this knowledge, this information that's needed because our families talk about these stories, but seeing you, a person who knows these stories, sharing that, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Our language and lisco. So, and so much of that is also, we have to start getting back to the tongue of our people.
That's right.
We have to start doing what our people once did. You know what I'm saying? And speaking that language. So I thank you, brother, for everything you all doing. I thank you all for everything y'all are doing and having me here. And I appreciate it. And again, if I can, if you guys want to know more information and you want to learn about my tribe, reach out to us. We're the official, proven, documented Yamasse people. Instagram is Yamasse Tribe on Instagram. Reach out to us. You can't miss it because.
All right, tribe. Shout out to Chief Sekhu and the Yamasses. Putting in that work. We gonna change the tempo a little bit for a little bit. more of a show. We're gonna go to a zesty nigga talking about pretending. Let's see what this nigga talking about.
On the East Coast.
This nigga got on a fucking apron.
Before then, but they didn't last. Remember, this was still Native America at that point, and so indigenous people were not necessarily happy to see indigenous people. Why would they give them money? Why would who give who money? There's too many there's too many non-specific people out in there. So yeah, when we're looking at, oh Lord, there's just cooking what's there to do. So much. There's so much cooking. Buffalo soldiers are Indians. No, they're not. They were literally, after the Civil War, these are black people. People are raced as black. To finish off the job, right? One of the things that people don't understand is after the American Civil War was done, the war machine was still moving. And once the war machine starts moving, it's hard to stop it. And so people who are Seminoles are not necessarily indigenous people. There are black Seminoles who don't have any indigenous ancestry. But once the war machine gets started, it wants to continue. So once the Union Army won against the South, they turned their sights to the rest of what would become the United States, right? And they turned it towards indigenous people in what we now call the Western United States. And some of those former Union soldiers who were also happened to be, African and African American people, were used as cavalry to fight indigenous people on their own land on behalf of black people. On behalf of white people. This is black people doing the work of white supremacy. So let me say this.
I don't know what it is, bro, but you zesties, boy, I'll be tripping, bro. Like, shit don't even make sense what the fuck you saying. Like, oh, man. Let's go find something else to fuck. I don't want to watch this zesty ass, bro. Talking about some shit he don't know about. Goddamn Buffalo Soldiers. Dreadlock roster. Hold on. Why the fuck I can't get? Why the fuck I can't get off this nigga? Hold on. I cannot get off this list. Nigga. Fuck. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let's take a stroll down TikTok streets. See what they got going on. There's a few people live. Let's see. Let me share this one more time. We got 126 in the building. Bang that like button. Share the video out. Support the channel. Enjoying the stream. Let's go.
They will go to Primark and they will be wearing plimsolls, and they're not wearing no designers. They even go to the charity shops to buy their clothes.
Look at the millionaires. I remember Simon Cowell from X Factor. Simon Cowell, or X Factor or American Idol. Simon Cowell. This guy. Yeah.
The tab.
across seas. Most of these people that hold these control the music industry. They control the
of potentially someone that is an abuser. And that's just something due to my trauma I can pick up on quite well. And I've always had some little weird vibe about Prince Dread, and then the things that he say about the 18-year-olds and always talking about the women and this and that. And then now he admitted that he has
Masons, not Masons, Freemasons have. Because a lot of us are Masons. We born Masons, family. Just like your ass was born an Israelite. Stop it with these words and terms. We all of these things, but none of them.
Have no memory at some point too of a lot of stuff. Y'all tap the screen, please. 129, y'all. We got to keep tapping the screen and sharing the live. Yeah.
All right, tribe. I am not for the bullshit today. It's not. Don't seem to appear to be much going on. Let me see what else I got for y'all. I got something else for y'all. What else do I got? Let's see. I got a bunch of shit. I have to go back and search through my shit to see where I was ultimately looking at. All right. What is this? Man, I got so much shit up here. I need to go through some of this shit. Let's see. While I'm doing that, play this. That shit keep kicking me out.
Went to Africa a week ago. Went to Africa a week ago. Went to Africa a week ago. Went to Africa a week ago.
I forgot to play that shit a long time ago. That shit got me fucking dying over it. And they say we be fucking copying. Damn, that shit there was. Okay. All right, I think I went through all of my shit. I don't think I'm going to triple check. I don't think I'm gonna go try to find no shit no more. Ooh. I think this is what we'll talk about coming tomorrow. We'll finish this up. Something going the fuck on. Okay, fuck it. I'm just over it. I'm getting the hell up out of here, gang. I got to go to the hospital, so I'm gonna see y'all later on. Try. Shout out to all the American Aborigines. I hope you had a great day. I hope you have a great rest of the day. I'm gonna get the hell up out of here, man. Here's some business. Make sure y'all bang that like button. Share the video out for me. I'm getting the fuck up out of here, child. I hope you have a great rest of the day. I'll see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place. Till next time, peace.